And today I'm here with Eric and Ashley from the TCNJ Collegiate Recovery Program. How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Phenomenal.
Sean, I love being here. I miss our conversations. I'm so glad to be back.
So, what's new with the TCNJ Collegiate Recovery Program? There's got to be something new going on there since we last talked.
Wow, so much new. We've got a lot of new members. I've got one of them with me. So
I was going to say, Ashley, are you new?
Fairly new, I would say. It's been like almost a year since I found this community. It's honestly changed like my, I don't want to say like life, but it's really been like
you can
it's been a great thing for me.
Something cool that Ashley told me right before this is probably showed up at the end, towards the end of last semester, getting involved, but came across a pen at home, the Collegiate Recovery Community pen, which I must have met her at a tabling thing when she was interested in coming to TCNJ as a freshman.
Okay, so how'd you find the program?
So actually, I found it through my friend.
If it's not too much to ask, was there like a reason, or you just wanted to see if you liked it?
Oh no, it was a reason. Once I went to the first meeting, I realized like, oh, I can talk here. I can like talk to people about things that I've been through. I can relate to people.
Yeah. That's what Eric tells me a lot when you're on here, that once you walk in there, sometimes you don't even know that you need to be heard until other people are actually listening to you.
I think something that we all do, right? And Sean, we've talked about this probably both times that I've here, is we wear masks, you know? And so we're conditioned to make it seem like everything is okay. So even if there's some things that, you know, we've struggled with growing up, whether that be with our family members at home, whether it be periods of problematic substance use, whether we struggle with anxiety or whatever, finding ourselves, whatever that may be, we have been conditioned to just like, everything's okay.
Yeah, you know? I think people can get caught. We probably talked about this before, but I don't remember every single word we said. I think that people get caught in friend groups that they have too, and they just assume that, well, this is my support group, this is what I have, but you don't realize how, you know, not supportive they can be. And I don't want to say that's anyone's fault, because some people get like, they blame people. I know friends of mine, they're like, well, my friends suck and this and that. It's like, well, I mean, they're not trained therapists, and if they don't recognize their own problems, it's not their responsibility.
It's easier to stay at surface level, let's be honest. I mean,
exactly.
Than to go deep and to start, you know, talking about some stuff that's really going on, or, you know, my day-to-day. It's much easier. Something you said before, which, you know, I would like to go back to is, you know, that emotional upheaval, right? I was with somebody the other day, and they were really nervous about like making a job change, right? They had this opportunity, and it had gotten to them to a point where they started crying. It broke them. And then once they started crying, all of a sudden they started talking about some of the recent loss that they've been through and some of the other anxieties. Like once that threshold had been met, and now we talked about alcohol lowering that threshold, and all of a sudden these people are sobbing at the party, you know, like crying at the party, and you're like, come on, what are you doing? But it lowers that threshold where all of a sudden they feel comfortable releasing their emotions. And
like
once
feel
it
like they're
starts,
in a safe space.
that floodgate is open, and then you can't stop the water, from coming out. And so that's happens often, where somebody feels safe, let's say at the collegiate recovery community, like Ashley was talking about, or in any peer setting. You know, you start hanging around people who have been through similar experiences. You don't need the alcohol to get you there, because the person right next to you is sharing about something that's pretty deep and heartfelt.
You probably don't, I don't know, Ashley, if you felt like this, but you don't feel like it's like a burden on anybody else for talking.
No, definitely not. I think honestly, since I've joined this community, like it's made me realize that there's people that have gone through very similar things to me. There's people that are recovering in the same way that I am, and it's helpful, and it just really has been helpful to know that there's people out there that have been through things such as
and that sounds pretty like simple, because you've heard that I've heard that all my life, where they say you're not alone, and you kind of brush it off like, all right, whatever. But when you actually in your specific scenario hear someone relate like pretty like identically to what you said, then things change, I believe. But when people just tell you up front, like, oh, you know, you're not alone, you're like, I don't know what you're saying, like, I get it, but like
it's not the same.
Like, you take that as just because it's so general, you take that as, well, you're not the only one sad. It's like, I know that. That's not right. But when you really get into the specific problem, like you're saying, and someone's similar, you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
It makes you feel a lot better, I would imagine. But anyways, that wraps up another episode of Mental Fitness. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in next Friday at 12 o'clock for another episode. Stay tuned for more 107.7 The Bronx. Thank you for watching.
Put those dumbbells away. That concludes another episode of Mental Fitness, underwritten by the Lawrence Alcohol and Drug Alliance. If you want another training session, go to 1077thebronx.com/mentalfitness to listen to our previous episodes and continue to train your brain. Now let's get back to something else that can help your mental health. Listening to the biggest hits and the best variety on 107.7 The Bronx.
107.7 The Bronx, 107.7thebronx.com, nominated for 8 Intercollegiate Broadcasting System Media Awards, including Best On-Air Pledge Drive for our first ever Radiothon, and Best College Radio Station in the nation. Keep it tuned to The Bronx to find out if our team of student broadcasters bring home the gold on Saturday, February 21st. This is the journey across the sports world. My name is Joshua Uhas, and first stream of the year. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a learning curve, though. So I am Joshua Uhas. Will graduate in 2027, sports media major. Last week I talked about, let's put this right here for now. But last week talked about the Super Bowl. I got to remember there's a camera there, not there. But when we talked last, I made my prediction. I said it was going to be like I don't know exactly, but I think it was like 17-13 is what I predicted the score to be. And it didn't end up being that case. It was a defensive showing throughout. But we'll get into that in a bit. In that middle section, we'll talk about international sports. So we'll talk about the Olympics. We'll look at some of the hockey there. And we'll look at the World Baseball Classic, take a little view on that because there is some stories and controversies there. And finally, we'll end a little bit with the NBA, or maybe Immaculate Grid, whatever I'm feeling at the moment. But this is fun. We have a live stream up, so that's good. Seems all fine. And I mean, thank you to iMedia for the opportunity to use these devices, and we love our good friend Alex helping us out, getting everything set up and working. But we will get into the Super Bowl. We'll get into the sports. So when we look at the Super Bowl, let's start with the halftime show, because I talked about it a little bit in the early part of my segment on it, and I thought Bad Bunny would do good, and it did end up performing, because last time we had the show right before the Super Bowl, because we have the 5 to 6 slot, so we were able to use that to our advantage, and it was I will say, for the relative casual fan, it probably wasn't the most exciting. I'm just trying to send this to someone. But it was, for me, I still liked it. I still like defensive games and everything. But for a casual fan, it may not be as fun, especially someone who maybe follows in for the commercials and the halftime show. It wasn't exactly the most exhilarating offensive game where you're seeing explosive play, but the Seahawks defense is one of the best in the league. The Patriots have a very solid defense, so it was always going to be that kind of style. And really the run game for Seattle and Kenneth Walker led the way in that game. He ended with 135 yards on the ground, as well as, again, you didn't really have as much in the receiving game, but still 26 in that regard. And when you look at Darnold, it wasn't necessarily the craziest, but it was exactly what he needed to do, was to put up just a couple yards, don't make turnovers, be smart with the football. And then for Drake May, it was always going to be a challenge against that defense, but he looked a bit flustered in that game, which doesn't surprise me. It's his second year. He hasn't really been around for too long, but he's shown good prowess during the season. But the problem was, while people did overuse the excuse of the schedule, it's still something you have to note, because he wasn't put in positions as frequently against these top defenses. And granted, he was able to pull out wins against the Chargers and pull out wins against the Texans, who are strong defenses, and still able to survive against that Broncos defense as well. But you look at the regular season, he wasn't facing them too often. And in the playoffs, he was having problems with turnover, or not interceptions, but having problems with fumbles. And it wasn't his greatest performances against those defense. Not that it's too surprising. I mean, the Texans were one of the best defenses in the league, and if it wasn't for C.J. Stroud kind of imploding in a way, it would have been a little bit different. And then when you look the rest of the team, like the Patriots just had nothing going. Even in the run game, Drake May had the most rushing yards for them with 37. Ramondre Stevenson, only 23. Travion Henderson, only 19. And, I mean, the receiving game, there was those deep passes where they were kind of still in the game, where they found Mac Hollins, but it wasn't too crazy in terms of what they were able to do. Really were unable to get any flow to the offense, which was partly because of May struggling, just also partly because of how strong that defensive scheme is of Mike Macdonald. And the offensive side for Seattle is also very, like, they're very skilled in those areas, and they've done a good job of building it up. Sam Darnold and JSN had really strong connection throughout the season. It wasn't his greatest game, and he did leave part of the game with a concussion, but when you look at the receiving, it was mainly Cooper Kupp and A.J. Barner. And I saw it was an Instagram post from someone who's like kind of a more independent person, but they sometimes get some posts with ESPN for, like, especially later in the season with Monday Night Football. But he broke it down, and they were running. Now, I'm not the greatest with, like, the formations and stuff, but he's setting up one tight end a little bit offset from the tackle, and then having the other tight end set up on the left side, motion over, and then they set up their blocks. But then they switched it up on the play where they found A.J. Barner for that wide open touchdown. He broke out to the right, and there was just nobody near him because the Patriots had been kind of programmed to see it. So that was the other side, is they had Clint Kubiak at that offensive coordinator spot, and it really helped him because he's a strong offensive mind. But the funny thing is, he has, like, no emotion. Like, he won the Super Bowl, and 2 seconds later, he was already thinking about his next job as the head coach, which, granted, I do get because it's an opportunity you're not going to get that often. I mean, there's only 32 positions in the league to get a head coaching job, and the fact that he was able to grab one, it does mean a lot, but I would have thought there would have been a little bit more of a reaction to winning the Super Bowl. But in the post game, his mindset just immediately to being the head coach of the Raiders. But what he did for the Seahawks to help them get that Super Bowl was crucial. And Sam Darnold, his development kind of picked up when he joined the 49ers as the backup to Purdy, learned under Shanahan a bit, and then was able to go to the Vikings and learn under Kevin O'Connell, who's another great offensive-minded coach. So that's back-to-back years, even though you're switching offensive coordinators, you're switching head coaches, that you're still getting that good, strong offensive-minded coaching. And then he's able to bring that into Seattle, where he gets another great offensive-minded coach to work with in the offensive coordinator of Clint Kubiak. And then you have the defensive side where Mike Macdonald, he came from the Ravens. He was a really strong defense with the Ravens. And then you move forward and look at what he's done with Seattle. The dark side defense was just insane. It was just really good. And it's not that they have a superstar on that defensive line. It's basically just a bunch of really good players playing as a team together. I mean, you look across the team, I mean, the defensive line, Leonard Williams plays a very solid part. Uchenna Nwosu, really good job around the edge. And just Demarcus Lawrence, able to get some work out of him, veteran defensive lineman. So there's a lot of pieces that they work together, and that really helped them build that core that they were able to move forward into the Super Bowl. And it just showed. They held New England scoreless for the first 3 quarters, and then the Patriots tried their best to get back in the game. There really wasn't much they could do. Kind because it was the touchdown score in the fourth quarter, and then the Patriots scored one back. But there was points in this game where they could get back into the game. They just weren't able to break through. I mean, for a while, it was 3-0 Seattle, and then it was still 6-0 Seattle for a couple of possessions, and then it ended up being 9-0 at the half, which is still not, it wasn't unreachable. Even when it was at 12-0, it wasn't unreachable, but because of the prowess of that Seattle defense, they could trust them to do whatever they really needed. And I mean, the Seahawks could have really ran away with that game early. They were driving down the field pretty well, able to get into the red zone. And they just weren't really able to take full advantage of it because the Patriots defense is not any slouch either. They're also a very strong team on that side of the ball. So that's why Seattle was never able to run away with it, but it felt like a very dominant game. And then when you look at the Patriots side, as I said before, they just really weren't able to do anything. And I think it was overall a pretty fine, okay Super Bowl. It's not anything flashy. I like the narratives that do play into this situation where you had Sam Darnold's whole redemption story. And I mean, you even look at the collegiate level, you had a great, crazy story where all these guys from JMU, not any 4 stars or 5 stars, just a bunch of hard-nosed, gritty players moving from a lower-end group of 5, or moving from what was an FCS team in JMU. Then they moved up. They were able to find some good pieces, and then that ended up building up that Indiana team when Curt Cignetti moved from JMU to Indiana. Brought a bunch of his players with him, able to grab Fernando Mendoza, and was able to turn that team into a national championship team with a Heisman winner for the first time in their pretty rough history because they've never really been that good. And then you look at the Seahawks story, and it's another redemption story. I mean, Sam Darnold picked by the Jets early in that 2018 draft. It just never plays out because that Gase era was a mess. The Jets organization remains a kind of chaotic mess with Woody Johnson as the owner, but that could be an endless talk. But he's able to break out of, or gets traded to Carolina. Him and Baker Mayfield, the two guys that had a little bit comeback stories, and then Darnold overcame or had more success after than Baker. But both were able to make turnarounds after their stints in Carolina. And then obviously Baker goes to Tampa Bay, but Sam Darnold goes to Minnesota and has a really strong season, a really good connection with Justin Jefferson. And for some reason, the Vikings picked J.J. McCarthy over Sam Darnold. And obviously hindsight is going to help in this case because now we know that J.J. McCarthy is not too great, and Sam Darnold ended up being a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So that was a big catalyst in the situation because I think it would have been interesting to see, well, one, if the Vikings kept Darnold, would they be able to keep Flores around to man that defense and keep what they had there and see if they were able to compete for the NFC North, because we could have seen a completely different picture. But we do have to get into the underwriting announcements. So let's get this. Mark your calendars. 1077 The Bronx Excellent Egg Hunt is on its way. Join us on the campus mall on Tuesday, March 31st at 11 a.m. to experience the event that won the Bronx Best Giveaway at the 2025 IBS Media Awards. Don't forget, there are 10,000 eggs, 20,000 pieces of candy, and a chance to win so many cool prizes, including our biggest and most iconic prize, a 3 or 4 night Royal Caribbean cruise for 2 to the Bahamas, provided by Josh Harry Travel. For more details, including a list of other activities and bites to eat, go to 1077thebronx.com/egghunt. We'll be back with more of your journey across the sports world after these underwriting announcements on the Princeton Review's number 18 ranked best college radio station, 1077 The Bronc.
This past October, our 107.7 The Bronc exec staff got glammed up and took a trip to the Edison Ballroom in New York City for one of radio's biggest nights, the National Association of Broadcasters Marconi Radio Awards. Because once again, we were nominated for College Radio Station of the Year. 107.7 The Bronc has been nominated 5 times in the past 6 years for the most prestigious award in college radio. And this year, in 2025, we proudly represented Rider University on the national stage once again. Sure, we didn't take home the trophy this time. Whoa, calm down. Being recognized among the best college stations in the country, that's a win in our book. From our amazing student broadcasters to our incredible listeners, we couldn't have done it without you. So here's to more shows, more memories, and maybe that Marconi next year.
Eggs. You like them, you love them, unless they make you fart, in which case you probably eat them anyway. They're a great source of protein, a breakfast staple, and an indicator on if the economy is good or not. But on March 31st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., eggs will have an entirely new meaning. It's 107.7 The Bronx Excellent Egg Hunt. The winner of an Intercollegiate Broadcasting Systems Media Award for Best Station giveaway is back again. The Excellent Egg Hunt is an event that'll have you hopping with joy. With 10,000 eggs, 20,000 pieces of candy, and over $30,000 in prizes, the Excellent Egg Hunt has something for everyone. With food from some of the best food trucks in New Jersey, games, a petting zoo, prizes, and much, much more. Our grand prize winner will receive a 3 or 4 night Royal Caribbean cruise to the Bahamas, courtesy of Josh Harry Travel, with other prizes including a 1.77 carat diamond pendant for Peroni's Hidden Treasures, hairstyling systems, and more. Want to learn more? Go to 1077thebronx.com/egg hunt, and we'll see you there. Because if you don't go, I'm about to win that cruise, and I don't know.
Ever wonder where 107.7 The Bronx can take you? On Alumni in Action, Owen McCarron and Owen Nelson sit down with Rider graduates who've turned their college experience into something bigger. Leaders in media, content creators, industry changemakers. We talk about the moments at 107.7 The Bronx that shaped them, the risks they took in their careers, and what they learned back then that made them the media professionals they are today. These are honest, inspiring conversations with people who once spoke in the same mics you do today. From Cranberries to Kroner, Rider Rock to the commencement stage, there's a new episode the first Sunday of every month with encore episodes weekly at 8 a.m. Or watch the videos on our website at 1077thebronx.com/alumni in action. Tune in to hear how Rider alumni are making their mark with new episodes every Sunday at 8 a.m. One story at a time. This is Alumni in Action.
The morning bagel run and jewelry spree on Wake Up Rider is underwritten in part by Caesar's Bagels and Deli, 110 Flock Road in Mercerville, next to Peroni's Hidden Treasures. Don't have time to make it across town? Then zoom on over to the Lawrence Shopping Center to Caesar's Bagels and Deli's newest location. Grab a small, delicious bite from one of Mercer County's award-winning small businesses. From a selection of loaded bagel sandwiches to simple cream cheese spreads to a variety of vegan options, Caesar's Bagels and Deli has a menu that will always suit your taste. Caesar's fast service, clean and welcoming space, and hospitality will make you feel right at home. With free Wi-Fi, outdoor seating, and dog-friendly options, this is your next go-to spot for breakfast and lunch. That's right, Caesar's isn't only a breakfast deli. Between classes, head on over for a filling lunch. This lunch menu serves salads, cheesesteaks, and cold hoagies. No matter what you're craving, you can always count on Caesar's Bagels and Deli in the University Plaza Shopping Center, Mercerville, and their brand new location in the Lawrence Shopping Center on Brunswick Pike in Lawrenceville.
107.7 The Bronx has very exciting news. Our new video stream is live. Now you can listen to The Bronx on air, online, and on app, and watch your favorite student shows live on The Bronx YouTube channel, which you can watch right now, and you may be watching right now, and Facebook, including The Bronx After Hours, Tri-State Sports Ramble, High Stakes, this show here, The Journey Across the Sports World, and Cliff Notes. Coming soon, Wake Up Rider on Monday, February 23rd. Keep it tuned to The Bronx to see how you can stream and watch your favorite student shows live now and in the future. Welcome back to your journey across the sports world on your 2025 National Association of Broadcasters Marconi Radio Award nominated station, 107.7 The Bronx. Hey, did you know? Did you know? Let me see something. Did you know? Did you know that we're streaming? I gotta put that camera back. What? But I am Joshua Uas, your host. I love these I love these camera things. This is actually so much fun. This is going to be so much fun to play with. There we go. But anyways, back to talking about sports. We got the international competitions. I wanted to talk about this a little bit because it's been underway for a bit. So we'll talk a little bit of the men's Olympic hockey. We'll talk some of the women's Olympic hockey. Granted, I don't know as much about them, but they do deserve their recognition. And we'll talk some World Baseball Classic as well. Just get all the international competitions going, which I am a complete sucker for. And actually, hold on. One of the features, let's see if I got it right. I did! Let's go. It can follow me. Now, granted, I don't see myself moving around too much, but, you know, maybe if I have to show off mechanics, you know, show off a random dry swing. All right, whatever. But we'll play around with this as we get going. But I'm kind of excited to mess around with it. But right now, the United States are up 5-1 over Germany. And they've been doing good for the men, it's just the preliminary rounds right now for the groups. And it could be big because I believe when, with the standings, let me see if I can find, actually, nah, we'll stay here. But I saw something where it's like Sweden might end up positioning where being the 1 seed will really matter, because even though Sweden has not played their greatest bit of hockey, they were one of the 4 nations teams. They're probably the 3rd best if you look at just raw roster. Probably the 3rd best team behind the U.S. and Canada, wherever you want to put them, whether you put them 1 or 2. But I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic. I think there was a scare with the United States against Denmark. They weren't playing their greatest hockey early, but were able to win that one 6-3. And we look at their first game, that was against Latvia. And it was a little bit slower than you'd like against a team like Latvia. The Denmark one, you can understand a little bit more. That was always going to be a tougher challenge. But when you look at the matchups they had a pretty fair, easy group to work with to get into the tournament. And they're doing a good job. They're holding their own. And they won 5-1 over Latvia. And they were set up pretty well. I'm not sure if they're going to win that first seed. It's going to be between them and Canada. And I don't know if Canada has another game. Did Canada play all their games? So Canada beat Switzerland 5-1. They beat France 10-2. I can't see, but the U.S. will either be the 1 or 2 seed, and if they can get the 1 seed, it'd be great. But even if they are the 2 seed, I think if I remember, they'll still have a fairly favorable second round matchup if they're able to survive against Sweden. But I think they're looking pretty good so far. When we look at the roster for the United States and just all the Olympics, I mean, Canada always going to be strong, and it's not a surprise. I mean, 4 nations, they ended up winning that tournament. Sam Bennett, Celebrini will be on this squad. That's going to be a fun one to see once we get to the actual bracket of the tournament. And I am also following the Daytona 500 right now because my driver is in the lead, Michael McDowell. But just felt like I'd mention that a little bit. But when you look at this team, I mean, still have Crosby, you have Hagel, Horvat, Seth Jarvis, obviously studs in McKinnon, McDavid, Marner, Marchand, a couple of the Panthers with Bennett, Reinhart, Marchand. Tom Wilson got himself ejected already from a game for fighting. What's new? You look on the defensive side, Drew Doughty, one of the best defenders. Cale Makar, there's not words to really describe how good he is. His ability to score as a defenseman, and obviously his defensive skills as well. Josh Morrissey is a solid defender. Parayko, Sanheim, Theodore, Taves. And then in net, it's always a very polarizing goalie in Jordan Binnington, but he seems to play up to the moment. Obviously, the Four Nations, he was able to play up to that moment and take that. So take that as you will. Czechia, Denmark. Where's Sweden? Let's go through Sweden real quick. Yep. So we got Jesper Bratt, the Devils, Eriksson Ek, Forsberg, Marcus Johansson, Gabriel Landeskog. You got Nylander, Elias Pettersson, Lucas Raymond, Zibanejad. So really still a solid squad. And you look at the defensive side, Rasmus Andersson, now of the Golden Knights after being traded. Broberg, you got Dahlin, you got Ekman Larson, you have Hedman, you have Carlson, and Lindholm. Although, I don't know, never mind. And then in goal, you have Philip Gustafsson, Jacob Markstrom. So two solid goalies, although Markstrom has been a bit on and off, a bit hot and cold. Gustafsson, very solid. And then we look at the U.S. Matt Boldy, been really solid for them, was good in the Four Nations and still good in the Olympics. Kyle Connor, not been good in the Olympics, was not good in the Four Nations. I really would like to see the name slipped. Clayton Keller used to be Arizona, now they're the Utah Mammoth. But I'd like to see Keller get in there. You have Eichel, plays really well with the Kachuk brothers. There we go. That's it. Kachuk brothers. Good Lord, I was blanking on everything. Oh, Matt Brown's in the house. I was not looking at the chat. How you doing, Matt? How you doing? We're talking Olympic hockey here. We got, we looked through. Gensel has played solid for them. Larkin, I always like Larkin. Granted, it's kind of a silly reason just because I used his X Factor in NHL. Austin Matthews, very good player. Has some problems in the moment. I'm doing good, Matt. I'm doing good. Brock Nelson, him and Jack Hughes, I like their line. I feel like you could move them. They were playing as the fourth line. So far, I'd like to see them maybe move up to the third line. I'd like to see them a little bit more. And then the Kachuk brothers, as I was talking about before, have been really solid. Tage Thompson, been good. Trocheck, really good on face-off, so we'll see his impact. So McDowell's leading, please. Oh, he dropped to the bottom line. Hocevar to the middle line. Okay. 2 to go. Cool. Brock Faber, really like what he's done. Noah Hannafin, really strong. Quinn Hughes. You have Charlie McAvoy, Jacob Slavin, Zach Werenski, Jake Sanderson. So really strong defensive group as well. And you look in net, and McDowell's crashed. Pain. Anyways, so much for that. Anyways, Hellebuck in net has some problems stepping up to in these major games, but obviously one of the better regular season goalies. And then, dang it, man, that hurts me that McDowell ended up crashing every time. Oh, more crashing. Oh, and Tyler Reddick wins. Cool. Okay. Well, anyways, I got myself so sidetracked. But anyways, That's about all I got on that. The women's doing really strong. They have a semifinal matchup tomorrow at 10:40 against Sweden. In the quarterfinals, the U.S. beat Italy, the host, 6-0. And so far, I believe they're pitching a shutout throughout the whole tournament. I believe so. No, they have not. They gave up 1 goal to Czechia. Dang it. So close. So close. But unfortunately, just not meant to be. But still, incredible job that they're doing on the women's side. A chance to fight for a spot in the gold medal event. And the men's side is, I believe they started later because they're not even into the qualifier positions yet, because there's preliminaries for the men's side, and then it's qualifiers, and then you get to the bracket where it's quarterfinal, semifinal, final, all that stuff. But still a long way to go, but the men are doing good. That game has completed. They have won 5-1. So you like to see that. You like to see that. So that's about all I got on the Olympic hockey. I think the U.S. is set in a solid spot. There was some scares, but I think they will be fine. I think they will be fine. Then you look, I think the women's, they're more of the favorites. The men's side, it's more of like you either get U.S. or Canada is really those are the two top end ones if you're picking who you think is the top team. I can't necessarily say who I think is the top team. I think they're about on the same level. Women's side, the U.S. is one of the favorites in that situation. So for them, there's a lot of pressure to get to that gold medal game, especially with this being the semifinal, and Sweden always a very strong team in hockey. But we'll move to a little bit of the World Baseball Classic because there's been a lot of... I want to talk about this. I probably won't have a lot of time to talk about it, but I'll cover it real quickly. Is the World Baseball Classic insurance. That's been a big talking point, especially for Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico had a couple of people denied or having problems with it, because Lindor had an injury to his hamate bone, which is on, because if you're holding the bat, oh my God, I like this because I can visualize it kind of, and I don't understand it completely. Actually, let me look up hamate bone. In the wrist pinky side. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. But bottom hand usually, because against the knob, whoops, I don't want to go too far from the mic, but we're going to scoot over here a little bit. Because usually when you're holding it, the knob will kind of knock against there sometimes. So Corbin Carroll got this injury. Lindor got this injury, and Jackson Holliday all got this injury, which isn't too uncommon. But it's on the wrist on the pinky side, so it's on this bottom side here. I love this. I can actually visualize it. But it'll slam down on it sometimes, and then I guess the impact, I don't understand it completely, but seems to be not too crazy of an injury, not too uncommon necessarily. It's just I never really heard it directly, the hamate bone stuff, and yeah. But Puerto Rico got kind of screwed with the insurance. You're definitely right, Matt. Because, I do get it partially, because Lindor he's just coming off of injury. And when you look at Correa as well, he has a little bit of an injury history as well. So when you look at that aspect to it, where am I going? Where am I going? I was talking about Correa, right? I just got I don't know what I'm doing. But Correa, he's had some injuries before, so I do understand it. And usually, the way I understand the insurance is, it's basically they'll pay the full salary regardless if you get injured. So like if you're a fully insured player and you get an injury in a game, they will still pay you that full salary. But if you don't get it, like I saw Carlos Santana's going to play without the insurance. So say he gets injured, he wouldn't necessarily be guaranteed to get it, but according to the Diamondbacks, they said that they are going to pay him his full salary. So that's honestly, I like to see that. I like to see that the team is willing to step in and still willing to pay it to let him go compete internationally, because I want to see as many people compete for their country, for their nation, because it's just, the passion is something that you can't match with just a regular team. When you're looking at, say, the, like, if you're saying the Stanley Cup, like, sure, it is big. It is 100% a big moment. Like, you can't deny it, but there's a difference between that and competing on the Olympics for your country for a chance at a gold medal. There's just that innate difference that you can't really quantify, but that feeling is just something you can't, something that's unmatchable. But I think it is interesting to follow. And unfortunately, Puerto Rico is not going to be at their full strength. But we'll do a little scroll through for the last minute of who from what like teams in the MLB are getting represented by different nations. So, I mean, Angels, Kikuchi will go. And I'll kind of just do the big names. Pena for the Dominican Republic, Imai for Japan. For the A's, Denzel Clark for Canada. We'll see if he has some defensive flashes, because, I mean, when he came up, his defense was just highlight after highlight. Hernandez, I don't know how his name is pronounced necessarily. I haven't looked at it, and usually I like to get their names right, so I won't worry about that too much. But he was kind of the fill-in spot with Lindor out, kind of a utility guy to my memory. Severino for the DR. We'll just keep moving really quick. Barrios for Puerto Rico. Clement for the U.S. Jimenez, Venezuela. Vladdy Jr., Dominican Republic. Hoffman, U.S. Okamoto, Japan. For the Braves, Acuna for Venezuela. Albies for the Netherlands. Profar for the Netherlands. The Brewers, Churio and William Contreras for Venezuela. Andrew Fisher, one of their top prospect guys, to Italy. Bryce Terang will represent the United States. Ivan Herrera had a good season. He'll represent Panama. Cubs, Matthew Boyd and Bregman and PCA for the United States. Seiya Suzuki for Japan. For the Diamondbacks, Nolan Arenado chooses to represent Puerto Rico. He represented the United States in the last 2 World Baseball Classics, but probably because he wasn't going to get a roster spot with the U.S., he decided to go elsewhere and go to Puerto Rico so he can get that playing time. And then Drew Jones will represent the Netherlands. Carlos Santana, as I mentioned earlier, the team will cover him to play for the Dominican Republic. Edwin Diaz for Puerto Rico. Despite getting injured in the last one, he is willing to play, and he is insured, so he will be fine. Ye-Sung Kim for Korea. Otani for Japan. Will Smith for the U.S. Yamamoto for Japan. Giants, Arias for Venezuela. He had some big moments in that in the last one. Hit a homer. Jung-Hoo Lee for Korea. Heliot Ramos for Puerto Rico. I know his name as well. I don't know why I messed. Logan Webb for the U.S. Guardians. Bazana will represent Australia. The funny one, Stuart Fairchild for Chinese Taipei. Mariners, Rosarena. Julio, Gabe Spire for the U.S. And we'll just leave it at that because there's a lot more to go through. But we got to go into underwriting announcements. So, 1077 The Bronx is switching things up this year. Instead of Dessert Wars, prepare yourself for a brand new contest. Build the ultimate Bronkwich. This will be your chance to have your very own creation be the signature sandwich of Rider University and win a Royal Caribbean cruise to the Bahamas, courtesy of Josh Harry Travel. Stay tuned to The Bronx for the big announcement on February 16th and watch your Rider email for more information on this exciting new competition. We'll be back with more of your journey across the sports world after these underwriting announcements on your 8-time 2026 IBS Media Award nominated station, 1077 The Bronx.
Okay, it looks like we've landed on what the Earthlings call a college campus.
The mothership gave us voice changers. Turn yours on.
Excellent. Now we blend in with the humans. We just need clothing to become undetectable.
Our frequency spike was strongest near 1077. The humans kept saying 1077 The Bronx. Something about their general store where they get the coolest merch in the game and support the music and shows they love.
I don't quite know what that means. Try beaming over a cellular communication device the humans are so attracted to. There you can search for this fabled The Bronx General Store at 1077thebronx.com/shop-thebronx.
Great Xanthaleer. Look at all they have to offer. Polos, hats, sweatshirts, drinking receptacles, shirts. So many colors, too. They even have tie-dye.
There are eco-friendly options. How noble of them. Order 2 of everything. We must support the Bronx. We'll be the talk of the galaxy with how fresh we look, as the humans say.
I wish we found 1077 The Bronx General Store 1,847 conquering quests ago. We would have looked so good.
1077 The Bronx campus traditions are underwritten in part by Rider Dining Services. Rider Dining is taking it up a notch in 2026. Their New Year's resolution is all new menu items at your favorite campus dining spots. Muller's Pub is featuring new bites for the new year. Chicken and veggie pot stickers, spicy jalapeno poppers, mac and cheese, cauliflower, and something bigger. Now available at Muller's Pub, snack platters. This shareable appetizer features wings, mozzarella sticks, pretzel bites, french fries, and 2 cans of soda, all for $20. But wait! Rider Dining has something even more delicious. You asked for it and now they're serving breakfast for you. Begin every morning with the market's new hot breakfast bagel sandwiches, egg, bacon, and cheese, sausage, egg, and cheese, or go simple with egg and cheese. Even better, warm up their new vegetarian miso and chicken shoyu ramen bowls, served hot at the food lockers. Find more delicious events through the Dine on Campus app, or by following Rider Dining on Instagram at Rider_eats.
Sharpen your pencils and tune up those thinking caps because Pod Save the Teachers is back with fresh episodes every 4th Saturday of the month only on 1077 The Bronx. We're bringing you the hottest classroom convos with our host, Dr. Mark Piercy, student spotlights, and educational info you can't get anywhere else. And that's not all with our educational radio show and podcast. Also featured every 2nd Saturday of every month is the brand new Pod Save the Teachers game show hosted by Nick Harrison that'll put your brain to the test.
Got what it takes to beat an education major? Try your luck with Are You Smarter Than an Education Major? Need a lightning round? We've got teaching in short, quick hits of insight in record time. And who doesn't love deals? Check out back-to-school shopping for laughs, tips, and those must-have supplies.
So mark your calendars. It's fun, it's educational, but not that kind of school drill. You can listen live to past episodes at 1077thebronx.com/podsavetheteachers and catch it all on your favorite podcasting platforms. Stay tuned, stay curious, and listen to Pod Save the Teachers and play along with the Pod Save the Teachers game show at 8 a.m. only on 1077 The Bronx.
1077 The Bronx is underwritten in part by B2 Bistro and Bar, Route 130, Bordentown. Gather your gals and pals to begin your weekends right with B2 Bistro and Bar's delicious brunch. Saturdays and Sundays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Indulge in breakfast dishes like their loaded potato skillet, hearty breakfast burger, or a classic stack of buttermilk pancakes. For your sweet tooth, try B2 Bistro's Oreo or Bananas Foster French toast. If you're looking for definitive brunch items to enjoy, order a savory plate of shrimp and grits or a brunch favorite like Crab Benedict. Or just have a bit of everything and share plates with your brunch bunch. B2 Bistro and Bar's brunch menu is packed with fresh creative twists on weekend classics. Pair your meals with a cocktail or 2 because on Sunday, happy hour lasts all day at B2 Bistro in Bordentown. Whether you're fueling up, catching up with friends, or inviting your family to brunch in a familiar place, B2 Bistro and Bar is serving up the brunch we are all craving. To reserve your table or order brunch to go online, it's b2bistro.com/Bordentown.
1077 The Bronx campus traditions are underwritten in part by Di Lorenzo's The Bird Pizza. A short journey to this pizza place serves way more than that sad supply of frozen pizza in your freezer. With Di Lorenzo's De Berg Pizza, savor the heat with delicious recipes perfected over generations. A piece of family history is baked into every pot. From specialty to simple tomato pies, Di Lorenzo's De Berg is ready to take on all your requests for the pizza of your dreams. Beyond the pizza, enjoy the warm soups, refreshing salads, delicious sandwiches, and beautiful desserts. Explore their monthly menu for specials you don't want to miss. Find yourself immersed in a welcoming environment surrounded by smiles, good company, and great food. Can't make the trip? Make the trip come to you with Di Lorenzo's The Bird Pizza Truck. And experience their famous Trenton tomato pies served up at your next birthday, graduation, corporate event, or public gathering. Suppress your authentic Italian food cravings. View their online menu, express interest in catering, and to order online. It's DiLorenzosTheBerg.com or by phone at 215-943-2605.
There is so much happening this spring at 107.7 The Bronx, which means there's a lot of behind-the-scenes content to be seen. Funny reels, station highlights, sponsor trips, and exclusive moments are just a few of the reasons why you should engage with The Bronx on social media. Jeez, I put too many words in one sentence. Keep up with The Bronx by following us on Instagram or Threads at 107.7 The Bronx, on TikTok at 107.7 The Bronx WRRC, and even on Facebook at 107.7 The Bronx to see what we're up to on and off the air. Welcome back to your journey across the sports world on your 5-time NAB Marconi Radio Award nominee for College Radio Station of the Year, 107.7 The Bronx. We're back. We got a couple minutes. I do want to talk a little bit about the NBA. Not much, because it's the All-Star break. But that's kind of going to be my talking on it, because I don't know. There's just something with the All-Star game that just isn't hitting. Now, I haven't followed along with the new style that they're doing, so I don't know if that's working out well or not. But like specifically like the dunk contest, it just doesn't have that same feel. And I saw someone make I think it's Kofi, a fairly known content creator, was talking about how like there's professional dunkers. Like there's people that do dunking for like I don't know necessarily for a living, but they do it like consistently. Like they're not focusing on developing their full overall basketball game. Now they probably do it a little bit, but they don't focus on it as much. And now it's like the pool this year was just not there. Like it was not the same kind of feel and everything where in other years it felt like a big moment. And maybe it's just because it's been around for so long, you can only do so many different dunks without kind of repeating the same things. I don't know if that's the case, but also like the selection this year, they got one of the Richardson's sons to do it, but he's not really a dunker. They had Jackson Hayes, who really doesn't dunk that much. And I really just didn't watch. I didn't watch it really or follow it. And when you look at the last couple years, I mean, Mac McClung was the one that has won it 3 years in a row, and he decided not to compete in the one this year. And he actually represented, funny enough, like 3 different organizations because he's been around in the G League. But I don't know, it just doesn't have the same field. I'm hoping, same feel, not field. Although, I don't know where I'm going. But it's a new format this year. They have the Stars, Stripes, which are the 2 U.S. teams, and then the 1 world team. I don't really know how that ended up going. So the Stars ended up winning that one. I don't like. That's the thing is I'd have to look and see. I'd have to look back and see if they were actually playing hard in the All-Star game, because that's something that really hurts me, is the fact that the NBA All-Star game, they're not really trying a lot of the times, and there's not really a need to, because there's a lot of management in terms of injuries and stuff. But yeah, that's about all I have on that. And I don't know. I don't really have much other thoughts. I mean, if we look at the overall standings of the NBA at this break, I mean, the Pistons still sit at the top. Isaiah Stewart, I kind of love it, just because it's funny, because he just wants to. He's just a man that wants to fight. He just wants to throw hands with people, and that's honestly pretty funny to me. Now, it's funny to me, and I enjoy it because I'm not in the crossfire and I'm not involved. But obviously, if you're running the NBA, Adam Silver's not going to be happy about it necessarily, or maybe he is. Maybe it's bringing in revenue. Who knows? Have I been wearing this? Have I been wearing this flipped? I think I was wearing it backwards. Anyways, but the Celtics at the second spot. I mean, without Tatum, they're still a really strong team. That doesn't surprise me. I mean, they fought hard against the Knicks. And then speaking of New York, the Knicks in third, right behind them, the Cavs. And they added James Harden, so we'll see how that ends up playing out. The Raptors, 76ers, Magic, Heat. The Hornets have put themselves into that play-in fight. The Bulls have kind of fallen out of it on a 6-game losing streak there. Western Conference is not as interesting, if I'm being completely honest. Not as many storylines. But that's going to be about it. That's all the time we have. So thank you for listening to your journey across the sports world. We'll be back next Sunday at 5 p.m. Stay tuned for more of the biggest hits and best variety on the Princeton Review's number 18 ranked Best College Radio Station, 8-time 2026 nominee of an IBS Media Award, and 5-time National Association of Broadcasters Marconi Radio Award nominee for College Radio Station of the Year, 1077 The Bronx, 1077thebronx.com.
1077 The Bronx.